Look at his fingers. 1, 2, 3. How many fingers do I see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He has 11. 11. This is something new. I wish I had 11. We could keep this shit gangster and be gangster. And I respect it's gonna be what it's gonna be. To keep this shit gangster. Niggas one gangster. Now look, they sad.
I got perks and money all in my pocket.
Roses and teddy bears.
Drill music was built on one principle: rap what you live. The problem is that the streets don't care about your streaming numbers. They don't pause for a tour date or a label meeting. And for the rappers on this list, the war they brought into the music eventually found them outside of it. 6 stories. 6 different ways the streets collected. Number 6, Lil Jeff. Chicago Lil Jeff was a feared name on Chicago's east side, repping Drill City Bloodhound in a war against BKN, Trap City, and several other sets. What separated him wasn't just his reputation, it was how openly he documented everything. He would go live while displaying heavy artillery. He counted alleged bodies on his fingers. He bragged about specific incidents in real time and left a trail that investigators, rivals, and the internet all had access to. In June 2023, Trap City's Leo was shot multiple times while in a lift in Little Italy. Jeff and his crew went on social media the same night mocking his death and making it clear it was retaliation. Then in January 2024, 2 BKN members, Montario Williams, 17, and Robert Boston, 16, were gunned down outside Innovations High School. Footage from the shooting circulated and Jeff went live after, rapping about it. His own live streams became his downfall. Every post was being watched by people who wanted him gone. On June 8, 2024, Jeff slid into Trap City's territory. Surveillance footage caught him chasing someone into a building before someone inside returned fire and shot him in the chest. He was pronounced dead at 21. The self-documentation that built his reputation online is now being used as evidence in the federal murder cases against the men allegedly with him that day. Number Chicago FBG Duck was the face of STL-EBT, one of the most feared GD sets on Chicago's South Side, and his music career was fueling a war he had been in since he was a teenager. His closest friend Tuka was killed at a bus stop in 2011, and Duck never processed that loss without channeling it into the beef. The war between STL and O-Block stretched across a decade. His brother FBG Brick and cousin Kobe Mack were both killed in 2017, and Duck responded by going harder in the music, dissing dead members of the opposition regularly. In 2019, he briefly tried to shift direction, dropping a track showing love to fallen Chicago figures. It didn't last. In 2020, he released Dead Beaches, a track openly disrespecting multiple dead O-Block members. That song is believed to have directly contributed to what happened next. On August 4th, 2020, Duck went to the Gold Coast, an upscale shopping district far from his usual area, with his girlfriend. O-Block got the location. Within minutes, 2 cars worth of shooters crossed the city and found him. 6 men jumped out and opened fire. Duck was hit in the chest and neck and died on the scene. According to testimony in the federal case that followed, of $50, zero bounty had been placed on his head, later doubled to $100,000. 5 O-Block affiliates were eventually charged under RICO for his murder. Number 4, Julio Fulio. Jacksonville Julio Fulio was the face of 6 Block in Jacksonville, Florida, one of the most violent crews in the city, and his beef with Young and Ace became one of the most documented feuds in Florida drill history. The war went back years. His cousin Zion was killed in 2017. Ace was shot in a drive-by in 2018 that killed his brother and 2 friends. And after that, Jacksonville was a war zone. The diss track exchange between Fulio and Ace's side put their conflict on a national stage. When Ace dropped Who I Smoke, mocking Fulio's dead associates over a pop beat, Fulio responded with When I See You, reenacting the deaths of Ace's fallen people in the video. The escalation was constant, and both sides took heavy losses over the years. Fulio survived multiple shooting attempts, including an ambush in 2020, where over 100 rounds were fired at his car. He refused to leave Florida. On June 23, 2024, he was in Tampa celebrating his birthday. He posted his location on social media multiple times throughout the night. After police shut down the party at an Airbnb, his group moved to a Holiday Inn. Gunmen were already waiting. Around 4 a.m., they opened fire, hitting Fulio and 3 others. He was the only one who didn't make it. Surveillance cameras captured the entire attack and the FBI got involved, suggesting the case was being treated as a coordinated, targeted hit from Jacksonville. Number 3. K-Flock. Bronx K-Flock wasn't even planning to rap. He was hyping up his homies in Sev Side 187th on the way to becoming one of the hottest drill artists in New York by 2021. His rise was fast. Is Ya Ready and Being Honest made him the face of Bronx drill, and a collab with Lil TJ and Fivio Foreign hit the Billboard charts. But the streets he came up in never stopped running parallel to the career he was building. In December 2021, Flock was involved in a shooting outside a Bronx barbershop. He turned himself in claiming self-defense, and surveillance footage appeared to support his account, showing the other man following him out of the shop before the shooting. His legal team believed he had a path to beat the charge. Then in February 2023, the federal government hit him with a RICO indictment alongside 7 other alleged members of Sev Side, accusing the crew of a pattern of violence between 2019 and 2022. Multiple shootings, weapons charges, and the original murder case all became part of the federal package. He's facing life. He hired Jeffrey Lichtman, the attorney who represented El Chapo and John Gotti Jr. But federal RICO cases have a conviction rate above 90%, and in conspiracies of this size, someone almost always cooperates. Number 2. Pop Smoke. Brooklyn Pop Smoke was building something that had never quite existed in Brooklyn drill before, a sound that crossed over without losing its roots. Woo! Affiliated? His platform was growing fast after Welcome to the Party put him on the map in 2019. But his affiliation and his visibility were creating problems on 2 fronts: his ops and law enforcement. In January 2020, he was arrested at JFK over a Rolls-Royce that had been reported stolen in California. Prosecutors allegedly tried to pressure him for information on Wu during interrogation. He didn't cooperate. He was released on $250, 0 bail, and continued recording. 1 month later, on February 19, 2020, he posted an Instagram story showing designer bags. One of the bags had his full home address visible in the tag. At 4:30 a.m. that same night, 4 masked men entered the Hollywood Hills home through the balcony. Pop was shot twice in the chest during the robbery. He was 20 years old. The delay in calling emergency services. Someone called his manager in New York before 911 meant help arrived later than it should have. He was pronounced dead at Cedars-Sinai. 4 men were eventually convicted in connection with the killing. The address on the gift bag is what led them to him. Number 1. Lil Durk, Chicago. Lil Durk grew up in Englewood with a father who was serving life in federal prison before Durk was even a year old. He built OTF from the ground up, went from local buzz to mainstream success, and by 2020 was one of the biggest names in rap after Laugh Now Cry Later with Drake. Then King Von was killed in Atlanta following an altercation with Quando Rondo's crew. And everything that followed put Durk in the crosshairs of a federal investigation. Prosecutors allege that Durk orchestrated a murder for hire targeting Quando Rondo in retaliation for Von's death, specifically connecting him to the 2022 shooting that killed Quando's cousin Savon Robinson. Evidence cited by the government includes text messages between alleged shooters discussing payment, references to OTF lyrics, and messages allegedly showing suspects waiting for Durk's arrival before getting paid. These are the prosecution's allegations and have not been proven in court. Reports also circulated that when federal pressure intensified, Durk allegedly booked flights to Dubai, Switzerland, and Italy before Ching stopped. He is currently held without bond, potentially facing life in prison or the death penalty under the charges as filed. His trial date has not been set. Durk managed to build one of the most successful careers to come out of Chicago drill. But the investigation didn't care about the records or the sold-out arenas. It followed the money, the messages, and the connections. And right now, he's sitting in federal custody while the government builds its case. The streets don't care about your streaming numbers. Drop a comment. Which one of these stories hit the hardest? And do you think any of these outcomes could have been avoided?